Welcome everyone today. Thank you for joining us. Today we've got this amazing special guest who will talk to us about how following your life purpose will actually lead you to love, and your soulmate will actually be along that pathway. So check it out, stay tuned, you're going to love it. Hey, my name is Michelle Chung and I'm a live manifestation expert, which means I help women manifest their soulmate live in person, offline. And I help career-driven A-type alpha women find their man so they can have the amazing, committed, and effortless relationship they deserve. So today I have with me Ms. Karen Seltz. She's a sacred purpose embodiment coach, an intuitive spiritual channel, a certified life coach, a licensed brain gym practitioner, master leadership coach, energy healer, and an advanced student of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and also a TV host. So I can't be more pleased to introduce you, Karen. I'm super excited to have you. What a body of work that you've embodied. So welcome and thanks for being here, Karen.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's been a long journey to get to this point, that's for sure.
Wow. So normally I like to begin introducing someone, but just tell me a story about how you got into doing what you're doing. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's really interesting. I just switched niches recently, and looking back, connecting the dots, looking backward, you know that quote? It was
Mm,
right in front of me the whole time. I've had this TV show that you mentioned for 2 years. And what do you think I talk about? Sacred purpose, like embodying your purpose, not just talking about it, thinking about it, knowing it, but actually embodying it and sharing it out into the world in a way where you monetize it. So
wow.
when this dropped in during a meditation, I'm like, duh, of course. Because like you read my body of experience, it all has led me to this. And for me personally, I spent so much time doubting myself and
Mm,
saying, why me? Who am I to want to speak on stages? Who am I to share what I think I know with the world? Like I didn't even value my wisdom and knowledge. But eventually I stepped into it bolder and bolder, started speaking my truth, even though for me, my truth was very scary to share.
mm,
And there's lots of reasons for that. One of them is the spiritual piece. I didn't think that I would be accepted if I shared my spiritual beliefs because they weren't what I consider to be traditional. But when I stepped into that and shared from that heart-centered, authentic, scared place, I got more response from those types of posts than anything else that was all cheery and happy and hey. So it really taught me, leaning into those fears and being authentic is going to resonate with the right people and also give them permission to lean in and do those scary things.
absolutely. That is so pure. And it is that time in the world right now, isn't it? Where authenticity, vulnerability, just from the heart, and not just this fake vulnerability where you're crying all over the place and you're having a drama attack. No, it's not about that, is it? It's really coming from the heart, and you've just nailed that in exactly what you've said.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And people are smart. They can see through the BS. We all can tell. I'm like, okay, yeah, work it. Like you're really playing that one. But I'm going to give you an example. I was in a business coaching breakout room and they said, "Where are you holding yourself back?" Because I said, "Well, I'm dealing with women that are holding themselves back." And they're like, "Well, where are you holding yourself back?" And I'm like, "Oh, like I knew it
Wow.
immediately." And it was sharing my spiritual truth. So I did a Facebook Live. I committed to myself in that moment. Okay, as soon as this ends, I'm going on live. And I was holding back tears. And up until that point, I was like, "Hi, I'm Karen." Da, da, da. And, like I was super surface and fake.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I said, I am so scared to tell you guys this because I'm afraid you're going to reject me. And then I just started telling my truth. And I was terrified and it was obvious. And I said it. And like I said, that post got more engagement than all my posts up until that point combined.
Wow. Wow. And there's such a parallel with that when meeting a new person, especially a potential life partner, isn't there? There's a lot of the armor and ego that you bring to a first date or a first relationship, first stages of your relationship. And can you tell us a little bit about how you can share so authentically and how the women who are listening can start to open up to new potential partners without also being hurt or being, have their boundaries stepped on? Can you share with us a bit about how you do that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. What came up for me was I used to have almost like a rehearsed monologue of what I would share
Right.
first date to make it seem like I was super interesting and such a guest, but I was proving like here's why you should want to be with me. And
Mm,
I wasn't being authentic. I didn't know I wasn't. I was proving. And that proving energy is super off-putting because
mm,
who you're with feels like they have to prove themselves to you, or they feel like
mm.
not good enough for her, or like it produces insecurities or a dissonance in your energy because you can't connect
Absolutely.
with the heart. If I'm reciting things that I've rehearsed and said 1,000 times, I'm not present, I'm not in the moment, and I'm not
Yep.
responding to what's right in front of me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it just sounds like if we relate it to business, because I also love using a lot of business principles in relation to love and relationships. So it's almost like you've come together on a first date and you're pitching to each other, right? You're selling yourself and you're trying to convince the other person why you're such a good catch. And that doesn't work, does it?
No. And then the other thing was asking questions that are kind of baiting them to test and
Oh,
see if they fit any of the patterns that I've identified
oh,
in past partners that I don't want. So I'm
oh,
looking for
interesting.
evidence of what I don't want. I mean, I don't do that anymore, but I used to do it all the time instead of looking for evidence of
Mm,
what I do want. Like, think
wow.
about a time when you showed up, whatever, in this state, instead of saying, oh, why'd your last relationship end, and looking for those types of patterns.
It's almost like a job interview then, isn't it? Like you're quizzing the person like, where are your strengths and weaknesses? What can you bring to the table?
Why should I date you?
Yeah.
Are you sure
Yep.
you're not like this last person I dated? And
Right.
it's
Wow.
really interesting. I study A Course in Miracles, and
Oh, I love that.
one of the concepts is empty-headedness.
Oh.
It's coming to any new situation without a past. So you're
Mm,
without any past knowledge or what we would call wisdom, which is really denial, then we can really look at somebody or any new situation with fresh eyes and be
oh,
in
that's so
the
good.
moment, which requires us to really trust ourselves and to really trust our relationship with God, universe, source, spirit.
How can you because I hear a lot of I guess the main major hurdle for women these days is how do you show up authentically to somebody and open your heart to somebody new and not and be able to know and catch it before it could hurt you.
Mm.
Do you have a, particular way or something you could explain to us?
Yeah, that's a lot of inner work. And
Mm,
for me, like my philosophy, my belief, it doesn't mean I have this fully embodied yet, is that nobody can really hurt me. It's
right.
impossible to hurt me. It's because if I give someone else that power, then I am a victim, and I
Yeah.
don't choose to live my life that way. I choose to live my life as a creator. And by that, I mean, I created this situation where this man is showing
Yes.
this way. Why did I create it? What is it here to show?
Yes.
And in the moment, I don't always catch it, but usually now I can catch it fairly quickly before I go down the tunnel of making it mean something about me.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
the thing is, like, we can be present and in the moment and watching, okay, ooh, what did that feel like? When he said that, I felt something that didn't feel comfortable. It's a non-preferred state for me. Why? What must I believe about myself in order for that to be affecting me that way? So it's
Oh, that's
going back,
good.
unhooking from those beliefs,
Mm.
because beliefs are not true. They're not facts. If they were facts, we would all believe the exact same things and we would all create the exact same results, and we just don't.
Yeah.
Does that make
The,
sense?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many variables, and one of those variables that you can control, which you're bringing up, and it's something in my online program as well, is to release all those things from the past, because they're the only things you can control, right? You can't control how that person, um, what that person does or says, but you can control how that person, how you perceive and receive that information that that person's given to you, right?
And even in the moment, many of us will assume we know what the other person means, and we are
Oh,
wrong. I've had
so
lots of
wrong.
discussions on what the certain meanings of words, and everybody has a different meaning. Like, what do you think unconditional love is, or how would you define commitment, or whatever? Everybody has a different definition. So just
Mm,
being brave, being courageous enough to say, oh, you know what? I didn't take that. I'm sure you didn't mean it that way, but it felt like a dig on me when you said that. Can you explain what you,
mm.
like, what was your intention in sharing that? And just
Oh,
being,
that's really good.
go deeper and just to clarify, because most people don't have a bad intent. They're not trying to hurt you. Most people.
Most people. I love that. I think that's a really good tool.
Wouldn't it be nice if when we said something that someone took offense to, they gave us the opportunity to explain it?
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're in a situation these days, these modern times, where we get offended so quickly, and we take affront to the littlest things. And if we gave each other space and compassion and the opportunity, like you just said, can you clarify that? Like, I don't
Yes.
understand, like, how that
Yes.
landed with me, and just giving that person the opportunity to redefine what they're trying to communicate with you.
I
So
know
good.
it's so cool. And one of the things I say to people is like, say that you are an attorney, and I say to you, you know what? You are such an accountant. You'd be like, what? Okay, what? It has no charge to it, right? Like you're like,
Right. It's not
doesn't
triggering.
it doesn't trigger you at all because you don't believe it. The
Right.
only things that trigger you are these unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself. Otherwise, you would
Right.
be neutral to them. So,
Yeah.
in a way, this person is there to show you what is ready to be healed in you, because those
So good.
beliefs are usually things that we have learned growing up. Like, if I behave this way, or if I show up with this characteristic, my food bringer, my mom and dad, are not going to love me, which is going to equate to death.
Yes.
That's why these things are so triggering. Like for me,
Mm.
selfish, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be selfish because then my mom won't love me. I'm not going to get food. I'm going to die. I'm going to be left out on my own. So I grew up as a people pleaser. And
Mm.
who gets left out of the equation when you're a people pleaser?
Yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Like,
And
I did not know who I was. I didn't know what I desired. I didn't even know what I liked. I liked whatever they liked.
right. That's a very common theme that I'm seeing with some of the women that I'm working with, and in the students in my program, that this idea of self-love, and yeah, it's such a, it's such a throwaway cliche phrase that people are like, oh, self-love, and love yourself and nourish yourself, and all this, like, how would you define actually self-love? How would you know that you have a healthy sense of self-love?
Mm, that's a really good question. And for me, it's a process, and it's a continuum. It's not like you always have it. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have moments where you're like, oh, I really screwed that up. Therefore, I am stupid, or therefore it's the
Oh,
therefore.
those
Mm,
meanings.
yes, the meanings we attribute
Mm,
mess with us. So for me, it's a practice, and I teach people to use their bodies as an instrument of consciousness. Meaning, when someone asks you to do something, you check in with your body. Your body will usually do something. It will be
yes.
expansive. It'll be falling forward if it's a hell yes. And if it's doing anything other than that, even a maybe is a people pleaser's no. So as you exercise your right to choose and use your voice, your subconscious mind hears, wow, I'm worthy. I matter. I'm the number one person and variable in my equation. I matter the most. What I desire matters. And you just start building it little by little. And when you can get to the point where you can say no without having any type of reaction in your body, without worrying that this person's never going to talk to you again or worrying about what's going to happen, then you know, like, you have arrived at that point. Like,
Oh, I love it. You're good. And there will always be more work, but when you've
oh,
gotten to that level and you can check yourself, that's amazing.
yeah. Can I share one thing? We haven't talked about it yet, but
Absolutely.
this has supported me the most in relationships, because I grew up in the United States and we have this fairy tale Disney view of love.
Right.
And it's in our subconscious minds because it got in there when we were very young.
Yes.
So I have this philosophy that I get 90% of my needs met outside of my romantic relationship.
Mm.
And I go to the relationship full. I don't need them
Beautiful.
to do anything or be anybody in particular. So that gives me the capacity to hold space for them and to not need anything from them and to not feel like you're not meeting my needs, or, you know what I mean? And
100%.
gives them the capacity to show up fully, and not because they are obligated to do something or be there. And then you just contribute to each other and you add to each other's lives, and it becomes this beautiful dance of creation. And there's no obligation there. You're there because you want to be, not because you need to be, or you're going to be punished if you're not.
100%. I mean, everything you're saying, it's exactly what, I'm also teaching inside my program and the philosophy of the way I work with women. It's it's um it's what the training that I do is about dependent relationships moving into interdependent relationships. So 100% exactly what you've just said. It's the epitome of an interdependent relationship when you come to a partnership already fulfilled, right? You don't need that emotional compensation from the other person because you've done that work.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's perfect. And the work that I do with clients is get them embodying their sacred purpose, which means they are actually sharing it with the world and they are making
Wow.
money. And when they are on that path, there's this alignment, there's this passion, there's a sense of worth because you're contributing in the way that only you can. And so many women that are in that place effortlessly begin to attract their soulmates because
Yes.
so attractive, they're magnetic.
Yes.
When you're in alignment, you're going to attract someone who's in alignment and who's in alignment with you, and it's just
Absolutely.
beautiful. And I just wanted to share that.
Oh, I love that. And it's exactly the reason why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because a lot of the things we do are so aligned, and it just makes complete sense that when you are happy within yourself, and I know that also sounds like that cliche thing, I'll work on yourself, but it is the absolute truth. And that's the only way to attract somebody else to be that magnetic version of you. And so it makes absolute sense. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing and how you work with women to find their passion and purpose, and any programs that you're running, or what are you offering right now? How can people work with you?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Well, it's really interesting. I do a 3-phase program called Sacred Purpose Embodiment Coaching. And the first phase, we're working at releasing everything that's blocking you from actually stepping into your purpose. And it could be stored trauma. You don't have to know what it is. It's not painful to do this process. You're not stuck in the past at all. So when you release all that stuff, you're coming from a clean slate,
Yeah.
and it's blank, and you can paint whatever picture you want to on it. And that brings us to the second phase, which is the rewire phase. And in this phase, we actually put new circuitry into your brain. We rewire it. We add new hardware that's going to support the new behaviors and habits that you want to embody. So you actually are supported, and it becomes natural and easy to take actions that are in alignment with your purpose.
Oh my
And then,
God, so good.
yes, I love it. The third phase is embody, where you are taking inspired action outside your comfort zone that leads you towards your purpose, where you actually start telling people what you do, how you can support them, and making them offers and being worthy to receive that abundance that is your birthright.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. It's exactly aligned to my program as well. And I think the beauty of your program and how unique it is it's all about recognizing your gift within yourself, and what you said, monetizing it, like being able to bring that into a business sense, right? Can you
Yes.
share a little bit more about that part?
Yeah. A lot of the women that I talk to, they're like, I'm pretty sure I'm meant to do this, but I'm really afraid to talk about it. And I'm really afraid of making offers or asking people for money. That's
Right.
the big one. And so they're
Mm,
working day jobs that they don't love. It doesn't light them up. They feel like they're wasting away. They're like, I know
mm,
I'm meant for more, but they don't know how to bridge that gap. They don't know
yeah.
how to replace their income with their passion. And once
Yes.
clear the slate, add the new hardware and software into the brain, it's so much easier to take those actions. And especially
Yeah.
when you're supported, you have like somebody like, okay, you got this, and you gave your word that you would do it, so let's do it. Or by when, and I'm like, kind of,
Integrity. Absolutely.
yes. So right now I am working with one-on-one clients and having, oh my gosh, amazing results.
Can you
I'm
share a story about one of the results you've been getting?
I am so blown away by what transpires for women, what transforms for them. Um, I have one woman, this is amazing. So on our discovery call, our free call, I uncovered for her, or I helped her uncover, I didn't do it, she did it,
Yeah, awesome.
what two of her bucket list items were. And one of them was creating a passionate relationship, with,
Mm.
and another one was a trip. She had been going on trips that other people invited her on, but she didn't want to go there. She wanted to go to Costa Rica,
Oh,
coffee farms. That evening, she got a date with a guy that she had seen like for a couple months, and she really liked him, but it fizzled. And she's like, I really want to date him again. She got a date with him that night.
wow.
She also told somebody that she really wanted to go to Costa Rica and visit these coffee farms. And she said, you will not believe this, but I have a friend who has a house there that we can use. And she
Oh my
created
goodness.
in one evening, she got like a date with this guy that she really liked, and
Amazing.
trip to Costa Rica, like two bucket list items. Check.
That is manifestation at its purest. That's beautiful. That's
And
so
then from there,
cool.
of course, it's been incredible with that same woman. Like, she's released a lot of blocks. She's going back home without all the charge of the trauma, because she had
Oh,
trauma,
yes.
a lot of trauma. And she
Yeah.
moved out of the country to escape her family. And she's
Wow.
going back, and her heart is wide open, and she can love
Oh,
them exactly as they are and not expect them to be any different. Because that's one thing about trauma, is it keeps us stuck in a loop. Our subconscious mind wants us to take action on something that happened 20 years ago, and so
mm,
stuck in it. So now we've cleared that up for her. She's goes back, and she's just all open heart and ready to have fun.
amazing. That also reminds me, isn't that some Rumi quote where they say, if you think you're truly enlightened, just go spend a week with your parents or something like that?
Right? Yeah, we'll see how
Right.
it goes.
Oh my gosh. Still working through some of that. So I think we're all on a journey, aren't we?
Definitely. Yeah, family is the biggest indicator of how you're really doing. If you think you're,
Right.
so true. I love
Oh my
that.
gosh, our greatest teachers. Anyway, we're gonna put all your links to what you're doing, and how people can get in touch with you. Oh, by the way, do you have an Instagram, or how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, at Karen Seltz. And then my email is karen@karenseltz.com.
Perfect. We'll put all those as links on this podcast, the description below. So everyone's going to love this episode. So any final words or wisdom that you can share with us?
Oh, yeah. As cliche as it sounds, the love yourself
Mm,
down. For me, love means acceptance of what is, and knowing that we are holistic beings. We all contain every single characteristic.
mm,
None of them is bad. None
yeah.
of When we can bring those pieces back, those fractured pieces that we've rejected, like I mentioned, being selfish for me,
Yeah.
being a bitch or whatever, bring those back and
Yeah.
love those pieces and actually see the gifts.
Yeah.
If I'm not selfish, I have nothing left to give anybody. If I'm not a bitch,
Mm,
sometimes people will walk all over me. So
yeah.
it's the gift of that.
Reframing that. Yeah.
And then also, what's the opposite of that? So, selfish, the opposite for me is generosity. If I'm
Mm,
not selfish, I have nothing left to give. So, I cannot be generous. So, until you bring those pieces back, you're operating from less than wholeness.
mm,
So, it's really a good thing to remember. Like, if you want to feel whole and come to a relationship whole, you must accept all those pieces that you've been rejecting or thinking are not lovable or not worthy, because they're
mm.
all part of you and they're all a beautiful part of you.
Amazing. That is amazing. The takeaway that I'm getting from that is absolute, complete self-acceptance is self-love, isn't it?
It is. That's exactly.
Wow.
And that's a way that we can really wrap our heads around it, because what the hell is self-love
It's
anyway?
too vague, right? It's too out there, too, it's not tangible, it seems.
Yeah, it's esoteric. And
Esoteric.
we get to make it tangible and doable for everybody, because everybody has the capacity. You're made from love. You are love. You are always lovable. You always will be. It's not a single thing you can do to make yourself any more lovable. There's not a single thing you can do to make yourself any less lovable. You
Yeah,
just, yeah.
that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll hope to see you again in future. And thank you so much for this amazing, incredible episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. This was a blast.
Yay! Awesome. So make sure you check out Karen. We've put all her links in the notes below. So go check her out, and we'll see you in another episode soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.